Hey everybody, and welcome back to Steam Train. Today we're going to be talking about absorption and fiber, and we're going to start off with our experiment today, which is unusual. Usually we do the discussion first, but we're going to start off because this experiment takes a little bit of time, but you can have it running in the background while we're talking. So for this, you're not going to need too much. First, you're going to need a couple of cups. Clear cups work best, but if you don't have clear cups, that's okay. So a couple of cups, you're going to want some water-based markers like Crayola or can't think of Rose Art. And then lastly, you're going to want some coffee filters. And that's all you need. So go ahead and gather your stuff, and then we'll get to the next step. All right, so now that you have all your supplies ready, the first step is we're going to take our coffee filter and we're going to take one of our markers, my favorite is purple, and we're going to put a ring around it in color, and you can be as generous with the ink as you would like, and it's okay if it's not like a perfect circle or anything. You just want to make a circle with your marker, kind of near the middle. And the more ink that you add, the better. But you don't have to do it too long because there's going to be a couple of different ones. So once you kind of get your circle drawn, it's not perfect, you can set that one aside and then do the same thing with other filters with different colors. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then you can unpause the video. All right, so once you get your coffee filters covered with marker like this, you can do more colors if you want to. You can make them thicker, you can make them thinner, whatever you want. But once you get them all, then we need to fold them. So let's start by folding it. So first you're going to take your coffee filter and fold it in half, just like this. And then you're going to fold it in half again. And if you need a parent's help with this, that's totally okay. Then you're going to fold it in half again. And then one last time, so that it makes like this little arrow shape, triangle shape. All right, and then you're going to open it back up, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and fold all the rest of them, and then we'll be right back. All right, so now that we have all of our pieces folded, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get a cup, and you're going to take one of your coffee filters and you're going to put it down in there like this, and you want to take a note of where the line is. You want to fill this cup up with water, but you don't want it to be at this line. You want it to be a little bit below, maybe about halfway between the bottom of the cup and the line. So let's go ahead and do that. See, about like this. Then you're going to take your coffee filter and push it all the way in. And this is where having a clear cup will work best. I just have the little plastic cups, so they're not quite as good. But if you have some clear glass cups at home, those will work best. But I don't have them here. So go ahead and put your coffee filters, the rest of them, in the cups, and then you'll just need to wait for a little bit and you'll see what happens, and we'll come back when some changes have happened. All right, so almost immediately we're starting to see some changes happen. So you take a look at this blue guy right here. If you look, this is where the level of the water is, and this is where the marker is, but we've got blue color all the way up, and even some down here, which is kind of interesting. That must mean that the marker ring that we drew, which is up here, must have somehow moved down below. And also, it looks like maybe it's even moved up as well. So we'll just let this keep soaking for a little bit, and then when we'll come back in a few more minutes and see what else has happened with our colors here. All right, it's been like 2 or 3 minutes, and now we have something really crazy happening. Take a look at this. The colors are actually moving up. The ring for this color is down here, but the color has moved all the way up to the top. And look at that. It's doing it for all of them. Somehow this color is moving just with a little bit of water. I wonder how that's happening. Well, we're about to talk about that. All right, so now it's been about 20 minutes, and look at that. All of the color has moved up to the top of the coffee filters. They're like tie-dyed flowers, and look, they're not even one color. The purple has some blue, some violet. Look at this. The darkest parts are on the top, and the lighter colors are on the bottom. And this red almost looks kind of orangey and pink. So how did that happen? Well, we're going to talk about it in just a second. So now that we've taken them out, you can see that the colors actually did move. And so why does this happen? Well, I'll tell you why. First, what are coffee filters made out of? Any guesses? Paper. And paper comes from trees. So, well, we know that trees like to drink water, and maybe there's a link why paper absorbs water and trees absorb water. And there is. They're both made up of things called fibers. Fibers are basically bundles of tiny little things wrapped together, and water has a special property where it can go up and down fibers, even against gravity. And because paper is made out of fibers from trees, it also has that property where it can absorb water into it. And when it does, it pulls some of this ink along with it, but not all of the ink. Why not all of the ink? Well, partially because some of the ink is heavier, and that's the ink that gets left behind. And some of the ink is lighter, and it travels with the water. What are some other things you can think of that are made out of fibers that absorb water? One thing is a towel. We use towels to dry ourselves off. And the way it works is you put the towel on your skin, and the water goes from your skin into the towel. Another thing, clothing. Our clothing is made up of fibers, plant fibers, in fact. A lot of them are, like cotton, but also we can use animal fibers like wool or synthetic fibers like polyester. They absorb water too. Have you ever been rained on and your clothes get all wet? That's because the fibers in your clothes absorb the water. So, what's next? Well, the next thing you can do is try out this experiment with more colors. I'll give you a hint. Gray is especially cool if you have a gray marker. You could also try it with different types of markers. I know earlier on I said don't use permanent markers, but maybe you can try it with one and figure out why I said don't. Then after you get all of your different colors, you can let these dry, as I'm letting them dry right now. And when they dry, the color will stay, and you could fold them up and make cool artwork, or you could even make this into a little bundle of flowers just in time for Valentine's Day to give to somebody. All right, well, that's it for now. Thanks for doing this experiment along with me. I'm Mr. J at the East Cobb Library, and we'll see you on the next second Wednesday in March. See you later.